maybe that's the fixer in you.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't have time to think about my own feelings. I gotta
Yeah.
go visit people and help people and do all these things.
I think also the fixer in me is not burdening other people with it too. Because it's like something we all deal with. So like, why do I get to cry about it, you know?
Yeah. This lesser known side of being sick and being just like hyper aware of the price and seeing your parents work super hard and try and like save money for what I know is my fault.
Yeah. Noticing the things that I've learned from them and stuff. If you want like a cinematic shot, you could just get like the tear rolling down my eye.
You hear that, Jan? You're listening to Catharsis Sessions. I'm Dashiell Wolf. The methodology we're going to be using today is Catharsis Method, a tool and a ritual for healthy emotional processing designed into a deck of cards. You'll see those on the table as we go through. And my guest today is Keely. She is a skilled tattoo artist and the owner of Lucid Studios, an all-women tattoo studio in Midvale, Utah. Outside of her studio, Keely is also constantly experimenting with other art forms, curious and always learning how to become a better artist all around. This session is special because Keely also happens to be my partner of 3 years.
Crash, I'm going to draw you naked, okay?
Okay. And behind the art, I've seen firsthand how this beautiful person has quietly dealt with chronic illness. Diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis at 6 years old, the pain of that is woven into the fabric of who Keely is, the emotions she feels, and how she sees the world. What Keely has chosen to take a closer look at today in our session is something that lives deeper than a situation or a circumstance. It is a core belief, one that surfaces quietly and persistently across many areas of her life. It's the belief that she's not doing enough. Enough for her parents, enough for her friends, enough for her artists, even though she is someone who, by every measure, is doing more than enough. Yet the feeling, through that belief, persists. The following session is advanced, loving, and goes very deep. Let's begin. All right. Welcome. Thanks for sitting down with me, baby. This is something I've been very excited about because there's nobody who I've actually used Catharsis Method with more than my own girlfriend. And so this will be fun. I don't have to explain cards quite as much. We can kind of just roll.
Yeah.
In effort to help the audience learn who you are better than how I already know you. Keely Thompson, super talented artist. Tell me about Lucid Studios.
I opened Lucid in 2022. It's an all-women's studio. I have 8 other artists that work alongside me, and it's just a creative space for women to tattoo and for clients to be tattooed. I just wanted to create a comforting, welcoming environment for people to get body art.
That's cool. Yeah. It's almost been 4 years since you've... Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was like in the flirting stage with you and I that you started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I can't believe how fast time is flying.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I adore your studio. Just the aesthetic is obviously so cute, but just I love how much intention you infuse to the business. I mean, making it this like all women's studio and a safe space for artists to just be creative, because creativity is one of those things that just is harshed by bad environments so easily.
Definitely.
You know, like sexual assault and those kind of things really are bad for the curiosity and the development of creativity that an artist needs.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I think your needs really have to be met in safety and environment to be able to feel creative and to explore and just improve.
And considering like the traditional tattoo industry, which has a little bit of a seedy past and a certain reputation for being like ex-cons or whatever, you know, these walk-in shops that are kind of mean and dirty. And so Lucid just such a stark contrast to that idea that people might have in their heads when it comes to a tattoo studio.
Yeah. Well, not all walk-in shops are like that, but there are some shops that just give the other ones a bad name. But it's really nice to find a shop that can be a part of the new up-and-coming fine art feel of tattooing now in the industry.
One of my favorite things about you is how ambitious you are. I'm just curious how long ago you kind of knew that you wanted to open your own studio?
I think it just kind of came naturally as I was working at other studios. I'm not saying that I didn't like working at some of those, but I think I'm just a little bit of a control freak where I want to I want to do it my way. And I have a vision for everything I do, whether it's my house or my tattoo studio or anything really. And so I think it came along even just in like my apprenticeship, where it was a dream to have my own space.
Yeah.
So it just happened over time. And then I got the opportunity to snag up a building on that main street in Midvale, and I took up the opportunity and have been doing that ever since.
So it's not ambition, it's just a need for control. That's
honestly,
all.
Maybe.
I mean, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you work for yourself, especially when you have like a building and you get to set everything up, the processes are yours, and then you go back to working under somebody else or for someone else.
I think I've always just
brutal.
craved stability, just in certain ways that I grew up. I wanted more stability in my life as an adult. And so stability means being able to control the shop or studio that you work at. You know, it's not going to close down because they can't pay rent. I'm going to make sure rent's paid. I'm going to make sure that it's clean. I'm going to make sure it's legal, you know? And so it just is a little bit of that like safety net, a need for stability and security, also a little bit of control and ambition. It all kind of, they all fuel together.
Yeah. Know? Aside from your art and the ambition in your business, one of the sides of you that I obviously love is the emotional side and, you know, intimacy and personal development, all that kind of stuff. And you and I are so different from each other in how we approach self-regulation and even self-awareness a little bit. So that's why I'm excited to do a session with you on camera, because I very much built this tool for me and my style. I'm a very cerebral person when it comes to how I process. And for you, it's very different. You're much more sensory, somatic. And so no offense taken at all, that I know that this tool doesn't work as well for you as it does for me, but I still just love having a deep conversation and being vulnerable about emotions and kind of the history and the footprint of where certain patterns have come from, or thoughts or core beliefs. That's just one of my favorite conversations. And you're so self-aware that it's fun to hear you, to have those deep conversations and to see that you've thought really intensely about your past and how it affects the present day you.
Thanks. And I think even though I process a little bit differently, I really love Catharsis Method because it lays it all out in front of me, and I'm a very visual person, especially being an artist. Like, I like to have the method laid out. I like to see the skeleton of it and be able to put the pieces together. So it's really nice. Even though we process a little differently, it still is a really helpful tool.
Yeah, you and I both love a list. We both love a flow chart.
Yeah.
And that's what especially the first half of Catharsis Method, I designed it literally to just be like an emotion flow chart where it's like, if this, then this, if this, then this.
And I love the scientific method part of it too. I think having something backed by science also makes me feel like I'm putting the time in, and it feels like there's structure to it.
Yeah, that's a kind of an Easter egg in the design that I don't talk about a lot. And I love how much you resonate with it. Because for me personally, I love to liken personal development to the same way that scientists approach a subject.
Yeah.
Where you have the self-awareness portion, which I literally named the 6 pillars in Catharsis Method after the steps of the scientific method.
Yeah.
You know, observation is very much like, with sciences, it's kind of like there's the study of knowledge, which is the first half of the scientific method. And then there's the application of knowledge, which is the back half. Yeah. So it's kind of like, if you take physics, a physicist is somebody who deals with the study of that science, the self-awareness portion. But then an engineer would be who deals with the application of that same knowledge. And I don't know why, but when I reskin that to personal development, it just... it works in my head.
I'm biased. I love science, and I think that you can really relate it to a lot of different topics, even art. But I don't know, just I love structure.
Yeah, me too. So,
Awesome.
What are we going to be processing today?
I feel like I have some sort of core belief where no matter how many things I'm doing in life, or how much I'm progressing, or even just accomplishing goals, I always feel like I'm not doing enough, and I always feel like I could be doing more. And I just kind of like shame myself for like not using every ounce of every day to do something. And so I almost want to process something along those lines where I want to process it a little bit more. I want to see why I feel like I'm not doing enough and why I can't just like sit back and take a moment to breathe. And I mean, I'm grateful for everything I've done and I can like see those accomplishments and stuff, but there's just something else that's just like, you're running out of time, Keely. You're running out of time.
Yeah.
Don't sit around. Don't do anything. Like,
yeah, this is such an interesting one for you and I to get into. And just like full disclaimer to you, but also to the audience, choosing a situation like this is kind of like expert mode because a lot of the people, I would say most of the time that people use these cards, they're processing something that's happened to them recently, just like literally happened. It's a lot easier to look at your emotions in that way and kind of your behaviors. But with this one where we're going to try and tackle something like a negative core belief, it's tough. It's tough to like wrap your mind around a negative core belief, which is probably mostly subconscious, not even conscious, and just seeing if you can try and uncover something. And you and I have obviously talked about this exact thing for years, but I've been excited to try and see if it will work in Catharsis Method. Yeah. So I think you just did a good job of defining that situation. So it's that core belief that you're not doing enough. And did you kind of also liken it to running out of time? Yeah. Okay. So it's almost like underlaying, there's some urgency to it. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Actually, that's already something new. So that's awesome. For those at home tuning in, we are going to first identify the emotions that are felt most regarding the situation that you chose to process.
Okay. For sure, fear stands out.
Okay.
Just like the fear of running out of time or not doing enough. I feel like that is the main thing. For some reason, I feel like because I trust like where my life is going and my purpose that I've given myself in like tattooing and having a studio, I trust that I'm on the right path and I want to like make use of it. So I think trust feels like
interesting.
I didn't think about that beforehand until right now. But
okay. That's really interesting. It's almost like you're on the right path, but you want to make enough of it.
Yes.
And do right by it.
Exactly.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
There's I could see how there could be a little section of sadness.
I feel like it's in moments, like I've seen this fear that we're processing manifest. And it really takes you over a little bit, and it kind of puts you on a path to spiral. And so in those moments when you have felt this feeling or this anxiety pretty intensely, would you say that these are emotions that are present in those moments?
I'd say if that were the case in a spirally moment, I would probably put trust on the back burner a little bit and then bring sadness forward, like sadness, fear, and anticipation, because I think of anticipation as almost like anxiety. And I feel that like anxiety feeling. So I know these are very like negative emotions. So I don't want it to be completely negative, but
here's my thought. I think so. There's the 4. I get what you're saying about not necessarily feeling an overwhelming amount of trust when you're in an anxiety spiral, but I actually really like that emotion because I think it kind of underpins the belief itself.
I think so.
And I think we're going to be looking at the belief rather than those particular anxious moments. I'd rather look at just the overall belief. Yeah. So how about we keep that one?
Yeah. I feel like trust is like the anchor almost. Kind of.
Okay, I love it. So should we keep these 3? Yeah. Should we do that? Okay, cool. So we've got our 3.
I don't know. I feel like sadness really has to be in there for some reason. Yeah.
Okay. Let me move these 4 and we'll talk about it a little more. Okay. Let's look at the levels of arousal. Okay. So each of these emotions can be felt at different levels of arousal. Sadness, obviously, can go from pensive and bummed all the way up to grief at its most aroused state. Things like trust go all the way from, admiration at the top down to open at the bottom. Now, I want you to pick the 3, and we want to put them in order of how much you feel it, but that's not necessarily about the intensity.
Okay.
Because you could feel bummed more than you feel terrified. Even though this is more intense, this emotion could be more present.
Okay.
So let's try and think about which emotions are most present when we're talking about this core belief that you're not doing enough.
I would say these 3.
Those 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want them in order?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you say the order is?
I would say fear
Fear number 1.
and anticipation with like an undertone of sadness.
Okay. All right. And we're going to leave the trust here for now.
Okay.
We'll probably get rid of it, but
Okay.
I think that's such an interesting one we might reference back to. And then on those arousal levels.
I'd say stressed or apprehensive.
Okay. I think that's good. And then anticipation.
Overthinking.
Yeah,
Sounds about
overthinking.
right.
I mean, you're pretty vigilant.
Can you explain what vigilant would mean in this context?
Vigilant is kind of just like scanning. You're very you're
Vigilant,
attentive to the surroundings, and you're always thinking ahead.
How did I need a definition for something that I'm constantly doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, I thought that was
Tell
normal.
me more about that thing I always am.
Yeah.
And then with the sadness, is it a lower level of arousal, higher?
Probably lower.
I think so
Lower
too.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Lower
Okay.
2.
So let's go ahead and move on to empathy now. So we've placed our emotions, and we're going to place the matching sets. So we're going to start with fear. First, looking at the trigger or the stimulus of the fear. What is the source of the threat?
Maybe the fear of missing the opportunity while I have it.
Okay.
And not getting the same chance again.
Mm-hmm. That is the threat itself. But let's try and think about where is it coming from?
Oh, I see.
Is it coming from, I guess, yourself? Some deep subconscious belief? How far back do you remember? How far back does this go?
Probably pretty far back.
Do you remember having these kind of thoughts when you were pretty young?
Yeah,
Really?
probably first conscious.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. The source of the threat, I guess, might also be time a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of like if time is ticking, that in itself kind of creates a threat of an impending, urgent task.
Yeah. I think also possibly being a middle child has to do a lot with that, where, the middle children are kind of the fixers and the ones that have to kind of be that energy sponge for everyone. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I say as far back as I can remember, because I've kind of always had that role in my family dynamics.
Maybe suppressing your own needs for the sake of attending after other people.
Yes.
Okay. Raising a younger sibling, maybe I think a lot of middle siblings kind of get into
not quite, more like parent stuff, feeling seeing my parents struggle with things, and I'm trying to be a little bit vague, but seeing them struggle with things and feeling like I had I wished that I could have fixed some things, and that kind of area.
Totally.
I guess.
Yeah, I think all kids that hear their parents fight when they're young, let's just say it as an example, can't help it, but there's some internalization that is this my fault? Is there something I can do about it? And it's a big where I definitely had that as a kid.
And I'm sure also you can relate to this too. Also having a diagnosis really young and having medical stuff, I think you kind of internalize the am I doing enough? Can I help? Even though you're a kid and you shouldn't have to worry about your parents handling medical situations. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
No,
cool.
I mean, this is one of the first things that you and I really bonded on when we were first dating. And it's something that I had never really related with anybody on before you. Kind of this lesser known side of being sick. It's less about the symptoms and the actual disease, and it's more about watching your parents or your family take the brunt of a costly health condition.
Yeah.
And being just hyper aware of the price and seeing your parents work super hard and try and save money for what I know is my fault. Not really my fault, but
yeah.
Is that, that's kind of what you're talking about. Yeah. What age do you kind of remember having some of those thoughts for the first time?
Probably like 6.
Wow.
Those are kind of like my first like real, not deep thoughts, because like 6-year-olds don't have deep thoughts, but that's those were kind of like where I was starting to become aware of my surroundings kind of time frame, and that's like around the time when I was being diagnosed. There were a lot of like question marks about like my diagnosis and stuff. There was kind of a lot of that like testing period and stuff like that. So kind of 6, being a little kid, kindergarten.
Yeah. Okay, so we've kind of got an idea of the source of the threat. So let's get into a little bit of the meat of fear, which is describe what it is threatening. So what's actually at stake behind this feeling? This fear that you're not doing enough. Is that kind of like threatening the way you live your life, making it feel like you're not doing it right? Almost like it's invalid if it's not done right, or if you don't do enough, or like you're failing?
Yeah, maybe that, or like a fear of like regretting something in the future
That you don't want to regret?
Or just, having the fear of looking back and being like, I could have done so much more.
Yeah, that's huge
Yeah.
for me too. I think I live a lot of my life in a way where I'm trying to preempt regret.
Yeah.
And live in a way where I'm like, I just don't want to feel regret at any point. So let me honor what I need to right now.
Yeah. I feel like I try to find the balance of not having that regret, but also like protecting my peace and like setting up my life to be what I want it to be at the same time.
Yeah, that's a tough line to walk for sure. To get into a little bit deeper on what it's threatening, like let's just catastrophize for a second and just say that you don't do enough. What's the biggest loss there? Like
Maybe.
you'd be okay.
Yeah.
But would it just make you, I guess regret would be a downside or just...
Or that like I might lose everything that I've worked for already.
Maybe almost like the fear would manifest and then turn into like a sadness and like a grief over what you didn't do or something
Possibly.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a decent fear.
Yeah. Honestly, just like the fear of losing everything I've worked for too. If I don't stay afloat and keep things, if I don't keep doing more, then I could be irrelevant, or that it could all crumble, or that it wouldn't progress the way it needs to progress. Hopefully that
Okay.
helps.
What you just said, there's a lot there. Sorry, we're probably going to spend a minute on fear just because I know that this is probably where most of it is. You just said something that triggered a thought in my head about not wanting to lose it all.
Yeah.
So I think fear, we feel fear when we feel threatened. And if we perceive ourselves as perfectly capable to survive getting punched or to build back up if we lost everything, then we wouldn't feel the fear as intensely. But if you perceive yourself as not having the ability, as not being safe and resilient enough to withstand a punch or something, then you're going to feel a lot more fear. So it seems like what might be underlying this, because I know this is a pretty intense emotion within this belief, that there's some, like a vulnerability that you must feel on a conscious or subconscious level, which is kind of surprising because you seem like such a capable person who, even if you did lose your business, let's say it burned down and you lost everything, you, almost more than anyone in my life, feels capable to build back up from nothing.
And I have that like belief on a surface level that I could just be dropped somewhere and figure it out. But I think that's like kind of a new feeling that I'm having lately, feeling more capable. But I mean, there's a lot of things that I feel like I feel like I can't do, and then I surprise myself after I do them, just like little things,
Yeah, I love that.
I think the vulnerability is a good.
Yeah, we'll dig more into that a little bit later. Right with this card. Why do you feel vulnerable to this?
I think a lot of it, I mean, I don't feel super vulnerable in that aspect. I feel more vulnerable in like a people around me aspect too, like feeling like I don't do enough like with my family, or that like I could help them more, or kind of that area feels a little bit more vulnerable than just like business,
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident in business stuff, but I think it's more just time and family and time, if that makes sense.
Is part of it maybe that like there's a threshold on how much a person can handle?
Yeah.
How much time they can spend with people, how much they can give to support people, how much patience they can offer.
Yeah.
Like there's a threshold before a person just, is going to go crazy and then want to just run away and isolate.
Yeah.
And so is part of it just that like you feel like you're always running at full speed and you kind of just feel like I can't handle more. So like if I lost things or if something bad happens, like I literally can't support more than I already am.
Not that I feel like I'm spread too thin because I like the amount of things I do, but it almost feels like something in that realm where, because I have so many things I'm doing and so many people that I like to spend time with, that like I'm feeling guilty for not giving them all the 100% that I give everything else.
Okay. I think that's really good. And I kind of feel like that is a little bit at the core of this whole thing is this vulnerability and that balance that you feel you're always stuck in between, where it's like, I'm not doing enough, but I'm also on the verge of drowning.
Yeah.
And that's tough because I've seen you take time off, which it's like, okay, well now you're not drowning, but then the fear hits you. I'm not doing enough. And then you do a lot, but then you're on the verge of drowning. And it's kind of going back and forth between these two thresholds. Yeah. Okay. So how are you inclined to avoid this? What's kind of just like, when it comes to this fear, when you feel it most, what is the first thing you're tempted to respond by doing? Is it to isolate? Is it to cry? Is it to run away? Is it to fight?
I think it's to like hyper focus on one thing, because then it gives me that false feeling of like I'm doing a lot because I'm doing a lot of one thing, but then it helps me like shut out the stuff that I'm neglecting, but then I feel guilty about it later.
Okay. And fear, it's about avoiding the threat. And so I'm just curious, is when you feel it, are you usually responding in a way to dissociate from feeling it? Or are you pretty good at like leaning into the discomfort of it? Do you find yourself running away from it and numbing?
More running away.
Okay. And you say
I don't know. I feel like a balance because I feel like I'm not doing enough every single day, then it makes me do more things, So I don't run from it, but I think I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I don't really know what's inside your head when you're feeling that. If you're feeling like I need to just jump onto my phone to numb this because I don't want to feel this way, or do you kind of relish in it ever? And just like let it, just like you welcome it in, or are you usually pushing it away and trying to distract yourself from it?
I feel like I welcome it in, but I don't dissect it. Okay. I let it kind of dictate me spending.
You let it control.
Yeah, I let it control a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Because, it's if I'm not doing enough, then I'm going to say yes to everything that comes up, or I'm going to feel like I'm like needing to set something up with a friend or a family member because I'm not doing enough. So I need to, so it makes me more like, I put more action behind it rather than like running away and numbing because it's always there.
Gotcha.
So the little things that I do help me kind of like help me have like a little pacifier in the moment.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well,
sorry, that's all so deep. I haven't really thought about all of that. And so it's just kind of like figuring it out as I go,
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the brand is called Catharsis, which is, I want to try and create tools to facilitate a person feeling that, which is we can release pent up stress and tension around the things we avoid. But we can release them and purge them as we kind of reach a moment of clarity. When we kind of give them the space to exist, we lean into them, we don't run away. And as soon as you do it and we talk about it and you let yourself feel the things you're going to feel, then you get that catharsis, which kind of like relieves a lot of that pressure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always good. I obviously love doing this. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Can you believe it? Okay. So sorry we spent so much time on that one.
That's
We'll go
okay.
faster on these,
Oh, that's okay.
but I know that fear is big. So looking at the anticipation that you feel in those moments, what is the new territory that you sense? What's on the horizon that you're anticipating?
Just like different chapters of life, different sections of being alive.
Mm-hmm. Time passing by. Yeah. Okay. And when is it coming? It's coming. Just always coming. It never ends until the end. You know, if there's a fear that you're not doing enough and you're always looking ahead to time running out, let's say your parents getting older or the lease on your building coming closer to ending, I think those are kind of like ways that it will impact you, that like the coming years, things change. Your ability to spend time with people might not always be there. And so like that's a pretty big impact. Okay. And then how are you inclined to prepare for this? I think it's kind of similar to how you're inclined to avoid the fear.
Yeah.
You're inclined to prepare by like going and saying yes and spending time with people and doing nice things and trying to make good use of your time.
Yeah.
Which is great. But just as somebody who knows you, I kind of wish that you could be more present in doing those things rather than it being like out of fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wish that the predominant emotion behind spending time with people isn't, oh my God, I have to hang out with you. We're running out of time. You're going to die soon or something like that. But instead is just like very present in the moment and not anticipating literally fucking everything. Yeah. Okay. So that's a very similar answer to that one though. Okay. So the first question in the stimulus and trigger column of the sadness is what was lost or what feels like it is lost in those moments? Maybe
like the opportunity to do it.
That's huge. We could go in so deep on that. The opportunity is lost, that the time is lost, and the relationships you could build, or I don't know, the way you could run your business, or the help you could offer people. Is that kind of all of that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then describe why it's valuable to you. I said this is a good one. So let's zero in a little bit on just we'll just say one example of where you feel this fear. Would you say it's around that you're not doing enough? Is it around your family? Is it around your business? Is it around Rose?
All of it.
Okay, let's choose just one example for right now on this question. Do you want to do family?
Yeah.
Okay. So describe why family is valuable to you. This is a question I'm kind of excited about because I know how intensely you love your family. And so it's always great to just like wax grateful and poetic about why you love them.
I don't know. I don't want to get emotional, but just, of course, I just love them. They're just like my favorite people I've learned from, people that have cared for me.
And that, you know, that you're related to, and they're tied to all your memories. And that's
why I hesitated when you were asking which one to do, because I was like, family's going to be emotional, business is going to be boring, Rose is going to be emotional. But yeah, you know why they're valuable to me. It's easy.
Yeah. And how are you inclined to express your sadness?
By like action?
No, like the behavior. Like, is it to kind of cry? Is it to reach out to people?
I think it's just like make the most of the time and to put like intention behind everything.
Yeah. Something that I love about your response to sadness, just in general, is I think most people are a little bit inclined to isolate. That's totally normal for sadness, but you do such a good job of not isolating and taking action to try and make good on it so quickly. I never see you really linger too long in pain, ever. I feel like you pick yourself up so quickly sometimes and just get right back to trying to help people. Maybe that's the fixer in you. Just like, I don't have time to think about my own feelings. I gotta go visit people and help people and do all these things.
I think also the fixer in me is not burdening other people with it
Mm-hmm.
too. Because it's like something we all deal with. So like, why do I get to cry about it? You know?
Yeah.
Why do I get to take up the energy
Mm-hmm.
crying about it? It's just like, I kind of hide that sadness and then just like take action.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, before we move on to intuition,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of summarize what we talked about, did you want to put your gems on any cards and we could possibly deep dive?
That one's a hard one. So like that one would definitely, I wouldn't have a lot to say about it, but I'm down to deep dive it.
Okay, so we just have 2. Are you able to sit in the discomfort this brings?
Because I sit in the discomfort all the time,
Really?
I think.
Mm-hmm. I think you're pretty good at it too. You might struggle sometimes to get out of it, but you
Yeah, I can sit in it fine.
you're like, I have to sit in it because I don't know how to get out of it.
Sit in a giant pool of it without a ladder.
Yeah, like a Sims
Yeah,
character.
exactly.
Ladder moved. yeah, I sit in it. Okay, is it worth the energy to try and avoid this?
I don't think it's worth it to avoid it because I think I do more things by having that.
So you like the motivation it
Yeah,
gives?
definitely.
Okay, that's cool. That's a really interesting take on fear that I don't hear from people a lot, is a person recognizing their own fear as a good motivator.
Oh, yeah.
Which, congratulations, we can just end the session. You're already very good at this. But that's like a perfect example of what we do in the second half, which is trying to come up with more productive ways to move forward, but to use our emotions. And so to kind of see fear as like a powerful motivator, where it's like, if I didn't have the fear, then...
I honestly don't think that other people don't do that. I feel like the fear of failing, the fear of not doing enough, I think that is what pushes me forward. And maybe like not quite fear, I'm not like terrified, but... Yeah. Or the fear of like not hitting a deadline, it will make me,
right. And I think the difference maker in what we're talking about lies in this card, which is the behavior of the fear. Because I think some people are inclined to just run away, to numb or dissociate, which is to basically just stuff it down and ignore it. But I think you do a good job of saying, no, I'm going to let the fear motivate me to go and make good on it. And so I think you respond to fear in a very healthy way. And that's part of the reason other people probably wouldn't say that right off the bat, to be like, oh, it's a great motivator, because they just run. Okay, cool. Well, did we want to touch on the trust at all?
No, I think it kind of just like what I said, where it just is a good anchor. It kind of... Okay.
But let's just talk about that for just a second before we move on. So that trust, when we're kind of looking at the core belief overall, you said it was a trust that you're on the right path. So tell me a little bit more about that.
I think it's more just a trust in where the outcome will be. I don't know, like, or just trusting my motives. Not motives. What's another word for motives? Trusting my
intuition,
or just like trusting that I'm like doing all of it for the right reason.
Motives is great.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that is a really grounding feeling. It gives you at least a place to plant your feet to know, hey, I'm on the right path, even if it is scary and I'm constantly scanning for threats and I feel sad sometimes. As long as you have that trust that you're on the right path. I feel like
the trust that I really want the things that I'm having all this like fear and dread and stuff over, where it's I want the family connections, I want the business things that I'm doing, and I want to like impact people's lives. So I trust that, I don't know, if I just like continue to really care about it, that it'll like do something. And if I don't, that's why like I need to do a lot of it. That's why like I feel like I'm not doing enough, because the more effort I put in, the better it helps people and like me, you know? Yeah.
And the more effort you put into it, the more satisfied and even like proud that you can feel about how you did, even if it doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, well, I did my best.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to feel regret that I didn't do enough, because I know that I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
and where I want to make an impact on people, I want to do that as much as possible. So if I'm not doing more and more of that, then I'm not doing enough, because I want to do all of it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I think that is good for the first half. And we are going to move on to the second half.
Okay. Is this boring so far?
I think it's great.
Okay.
So, moving into the second half, let me read the management card really quick. So, management is the ability to regulate thoughts, feelings, and actions. It takes the blueprint of our awareness that we just did, and it challenges that initial experience. It's our ability to think critically and guide our responses in productive directions. Separate yourself from the feelings, bring things into perspective, and concentrate on results. So I feel like we just did a good job of kind of exploring a little bit some of the emotional layers that come with that belief and when it kind of manifests itself. And so it's really important on that first half to not judge or censor anything that you're feeling. Just let it be as ridiculous and pathetic as it might feel, but don't censor it. But now in this half, we're going to regulate a little bit more and challenge a couple things. And I think that's where maybe your relationship with the belief can change a little bit. So let's see what we can do. So my first question: is the root of the problem in your control?
No, I think that's why it messes with me.
I think so too. Because the fear is like, am I doing enough? And you do have control over what you do, but because it's like this urgency, and it's time is passing by too quickly. It's like, well, you can't really control that. Yeah. You also can't control helping the people that you want to help.
And like you can't control the amount of things that you're missing out on by not doing it. Like there's endless opportunities and things, and I can't control.
Right.
Those just passing by.
Right. It's almost like we could exercise FOMO about everything.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to just filter out things and focus on what you're doing. So I think it is a little bit in your control though, to consciously say, I don't need to feel like I'm missing out on all these X, Y, and Z things. This is my path. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So answering that question, if the root of the problem is in your control, focus on what you can do to improve it. And if it's not in your control, focus on how to change your relationship with it. As far as you having this core belief, I would say that you don't have control over that as much. Yeah. It's kind of tough you can't just turn off a negative core belief.
Yeah.
And so it's important to just kind of change your relationship with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anything you've expressed about the fear has been just like irrational or even like mostly bad or unhelpful.
And I feel like I've maybe proven to myself many times that I can do a lot of things, and I am doing a lot of things, and it's still like not enough,
Right. So, it's never going to be satisfied.
Yeah. I could spend all my waking hours doing something in a day, and I'd still be like, that's not enough.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
it's just like, it's like a hunger that just can't be satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I think the fact that you already know that is really good when it comes to challenging the belief, because you've already proven that it's not chasing some tangible goal. Yeah. It's just a pit.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's keep that in mind, which goes nice into the next question. What's the most important thing in this situation? Is it your mental health, like your well-being? Like as we're approaching a negative core belief and a pretty intense recurring fear, what is the most important thing? Is it to try and satisfy that thing? Is it to feel like you're doing enough?
To probably feel like I'm doing enough, and to just like maintain the safety that I feel by doing so many things and by trying to be successful.
Okay. I think that's really good, because we already talked about how the fear, like there's a vulnerability that underlies it. And I think that this fear is making you feel less safe than you are.
Yeah.
Because if you felt more safe, you wouldn't feel that fear as much, and you would feel more satisfied with what you are doing rather than feeling like you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
So I think trying to strengthen your sense of safety is really important. And maybe even like a relationship with your own abilities. Because that's the thing, like as your boyfriend, I'm always trying to be like, girl, do you know how capable you are? Like you are so capable. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as we move forward. So then coping strategies. This is actually going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll read the little description. Coping strategies. When facing an amount or type of stress that we aren't able to manage, we all resort to our coping mechanisms. A form of compromise. Coping buys us momentary comfort, but at a cost. Distressed feelings could be soothed or numbed. Uncomfortable thoughts can be bargained with or indulged. Our strategy is picked for us until we consciously intervene. Kind of what we were saying about the behaviors of fear. I think some people respond more negatively, some respond more positively. And so consciously intervening is what will make the difference there. Otherwise, your response is picked for you. If you're on autopilot, you don't get to choose which behavior you indulge. You just do whatever comes natural. So what is an unhealthy coping mechanism that you've used in the past? And what made it unhealthy?
Just pushing things to the back burner and being like almost procrastinating doing those things. Do you have any input since you know me pretty well? You know me pretty well.
Yeah, a little bit. That's tough because I feel like you ruminate a lot, which is not a coping strategy. Rather than numbing yourself, which would be a coping strategy, you just you ruminate. So I don't know. I don't think I could list an unhealthy coping mechanism I've seen. I think you have some pretty healthy coping mechanisms. I don't know.
Indulging in that fear is just kind of an unhealthy coping mechanism too.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Do you think that provides any kind of a comfort to indulge it?
Yeah, because I feel like I'm in control and I like did the thing. It's almost like if I'm worried about like running out of time with my parents, I like do something with them. Then I'm like, okay, I'm good in that category for a minute. And then now my business. Okay, I'm good in that category.
That's a great point. It's almost like you believe the fear just outright. Like, okay, let me go try to satisfy you, even though we know it's never going to be satisfied.
I believe the fear. I didn't know there was another option than not believing it.
Okay, that's a really good point. That can be seen as a coping strategy to just indulge it. Okay, interesting. So what makes that unhealthy?
Because it's almost just like, it's like ruminating in a way where if you just keep feeding that cycle, it's just going to keep like, you'll keep needing that reassurance, that not dopamine hit, but almost like that dopamine hit of like, okay, I did it, solved it. And I'm just indulging in that fear. And
it's almost like it's easier to obey the fear than to challenge it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a great answer. What is a healthy coping mechanism that you could use in this situation?
In the situation of just being afraid of not doing enough?
Well, I think maybe we can just use what we just said, which was rather than indulging the fear and trying to satisfy it, a healthier coping mechanism would be to challenge it.
Yeah. How do you challenge something like that when it just is like coming from a place of genuinely wanting to do more to like?
Because it's coming at a mental health cost to you. To indulge the fear, you're essentially conditioning yourself to feel more of it. And so challenging it, which is, I will admit, it's a lot easier said than done, but it's at least taking a step towards a version of you that does not feel the fear and is not overwhelmed by the fear as much.
So let's say you have a fear of not doing enough with like your family. Let's say that like your dad asks you to do something and if you kind of can't squeeze it into your schedule, but you feel like if not, then you're not doing enough by like, you're not spending enough time with them. And what if something happens and you don't, how would you challenge that fear? Just not doing the thing and just realizing that like, okay, it's okay to hang out next time.
Well, no, because I mean, the fear is helpful. Like it's trying, it's trying to motivate something to satiate some sort of a need, but there has to be some limit, some tangible thing. So if I feel the fear because it's like, oh, I haven't seen my dad in a month, I need to plan something. And then I do, and the fear goes away, well, then that's good. Like the fear motivated me to do something. But if I went and hung out with him And then a day later, I was racked with fear again that I'm not doing enough. Well, then it's like, where is the actual limit that you're chasing?
But then what if you're not doing enough in so many different categories that like no matter what, like you hang out with your dad, you hang out with your mom, you do this, then just it's still that
you got all the
overwhelming
spinning plates,
not doing enough
no matter
overall.
what, one of them is about to fall off.
Yeah.
Totally get that. It just depends if it's reasonable. I know that sounds weird, but like there's a reasonable level, and also just choices that have to be made on like what you're willing to do, what you're able to do. And so you kind of have to make a choice about what makes the most sense and what's healthy for you. And then if the fear abides by that, then great, it's a good motivator. But if it just is never satisfied and it's going to make you just feel terrible, even though you're actually doing everything that you can, well, then that's when you got to challenge it, because that's not sustainable. And you got to push back a little. But like I said, a lot easier said than done. Okay. So did we answer what a healthy coping mechanism is? Oh, challenging it, but do you not resonate with that one as much, to just challenge the fear? You're like, nah.
I'm like, nah, that's fine.
Okay.
No,
so,
I don't know.
So what could be a healthy coping mechanism then? That's not just not indulging the fear, but not also challenging it. Is there a happy medium? Like, what do you think about kind of bargaining with it to say like, okay, like what is the amount? What is the threshold for enough on you're not doing enough?
I mean, like, I think I challenge it by just daily life being like, okay, that's enough for now. You know, I did the best I can today, but I don't know.
If you and I sat down with a journal entry and literally wrote out, okay, what is the threshold on how much time I need to spend with my family? And you ask yourself, ask the fear, that part of you, and just say, okay, like what is an amount that's enough, that feels like we're still nurturing these relationships, but without, losing all of our free time. And if you decided like, once a week or once every other week, do you think that you would be able to kind of find a level?
Yeah, I kind of like have that, like a mental note of that already.
Really?
Some things,
So then, and do you think that the fear, which is not satisfied, could possibly be satisfied if you set a pretty clear-cut
Yeah, if
limit?
I feel like there's maybe like structure to it, then it could help me realize that, like, I don't know, I'm not just being limbo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think the fear, which is just a feeling, is not good at consciously coming up with like an amount. All it knows is to yearn.
Yeah.
And so until you consciously go, all right, let me get out my calculator. What's the actual amount for you to be satisfied feeling? Okay, we've decided as a council that this is the amount. And now suddenly you can go reach that amount, and hopefully the fear would be like, okay, the amount we agreed upon was satisfied and I can relax.
Yeah. I feel like the reason, like, I'm a goal setter, I like setting goals, but I feel like the reason I haven't resonated super with that a lot lately is because I just want to have goals in every direction. So I wonder if like I can like set my goals moving forward to having like these categories that make me feel like I'm not doing enough, and just to kind of like help that. I have the goals of like how much family time I want to spend or how much I want to help them with things. And then I have the goals of like what would make me feel better about the energy I put into other things, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I love that. Moving on to, right there. Stress inventory. You know this one. We'll just do this one really quick.
Okay.
Make our piles. So keep in mind, this is the stress that's unrelated to the situation we're processing. Just so you can get an idea of how other areas of your life might be trending in a more positive or negative direction, and if those things are stressful, how they might be bleeding over to unfairly change your reaction to the current situation. Okay. So we will start with the category of environment. The cleanliness of my home or bedroom brings me feelings of comfort or distress.
Comfort.
Okay. Okay. My workload at school, work, or home feels predominantly in control or overwhelming.
Don't tell anyone I said this, but I think overwhelming.
Really? Work?
I just have a lot.
Okay.
I have to go finish a drawing after this, just everything. There's always something to always something to do.
Okay. The media that I watch, listen to, and read makes me feel inspired or upset.
Typically inspired,
Mhm.
but also with like the state of the world right now, upset at the same time. So I try to find a balance with that. But I'd say more inspired
I think you do a
because
good job
I
of that.
know what I want to look at when I am looking at media.
I feel like you do a really good job. You're always keeping tabs on cool stuff in your industry, what artists are doing, just a lot of fun, creative stuff.
If I'm watching something, it's something intentional to try to get me inspired.
Totally. And I love the days that you come home from work and you've listened to 3 podcasts, but you're like excited about it and you're telling me all about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the category of actions. By my own measure of productivity, I have been productive or complacent.
See, I know that I've been productive, but my not doing enough brain says complacent.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I sat on my ass for like 2 hours today. So
No, that's fair. I think it's good to answer this based on the feelings inside you, not based on the literal productivity.
Yeah.
Because it's going to cause you stress. You know, even when you are being productive, if you're feeling complacent, it's going to cause you stress. So it's important to be aware of that. Okay. The promises I made to myself and others were mostly kept or neglected.
Kept.
Okay.
I think.
Cool. My efforts to reach out and show up for those I care about were proactive or static.
I'd say that's where I feel a little bit of the torn feeling too, because of that's part of the not doing enough. But I'd say proactive lately, but also there's just so many other things I could, so many people. I feel like
I think you and I...
too many people a little bit right now.
I know. We have a bunch of unresponded to texts of people trying to make plans, and that's always...
You would probably shit your pants if you saw how many unresponded texts and stuff.
I get stressed when when the bubble on text messages says like 9.
Yeah.
And yours, what is it right now?
Probably, I think it's 169.
Oh my god!
And that's when I've answered them for quite a while. Yeah.
Stress.
Yeah.
Okay. You are stronger than I am when it comes to that.
Well, I don't have the capacity.
I have to clear out all of my notification bubbles all the time.
That'd feel so nice.
It does, but to keep them at 0 means you're constantly deleting emails and doing everything. Okay, last category.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there's 2. Second to last category, social. Attitudes toward who I am and where I am in my life have seemed accepting or judgmental.
Like myself feeling?
So this is social. So this is people around you. Have their attitudes towards you been judgmental? Yeah, definitely. Everybody's in love with you. My support system and those I can lean on have felt close by or distant.
Close by, but I make it distant in my brain because I don't want to burden people. So close by. I think I could reach out if I needed to, but that's the whole battle.
Okay. The outlooks of those around me have seemed mostly uplifting or gloomy.
I think just because like the world and social media right now, like gloomy, it seems like everyone is a little bit gloomy, but also like uplifting. I don't know.
I would say the outlooks of people around you to the extent that it affects you.
Okay. Uplifting.
Okay. And last category now is health.
Okay.
This card was literally written for you. My overall health and pain levels have been draining or comfortable.
Probably draining.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Draining. My sleep schedule has been mostly erratic or consistent.
Kind of erratic. Well, consistent.
You're consistent.
You don't let me sleep as much as I want to. I'd be in bed by now.
He's been interrupting my 12 hours of sleep.
I love bed.
My diet, water intake, and exercise have been indulgent or healthy.
I feel healthy.
Healthy?
In that area. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice. So we've got our 2 piles. That's a pretty strong positive pile. And then for our negatives, we had the pain levels, productivity, and workload.
Damn.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah. So I think the purposes of this exercise is just to make sure that the stress that's kind of being generated by these things, we're aware that that we've got stress from some other areas so that we don't project it onto this
Yeah.
situation. Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that exercise.
Yeah, that one. I love that one too.
Okay, so now this is going to be interesting, moving on to accountability. So it's a disclaimer I always say, but with accountability, you only do the challenges as needed or as feels relevant, because I don't want people to try and take accountability for things that don't need accountability.
Yeah.
So we have 5 exercises. One is cognitive distortions, which is just looking at fallacies that we engage in our mind, thinking errors. The next is conscience and trust. This is just thinking about core values. There's communication. There is unhelpful thoughts or unhelpful actions challenge. And then there is radical acceptance. So do any of those stand out?
Maybe cognitive distortions.
Okay.
What about you, if you could pick one for me to do?
So radical acceptance is one of the most complex cards in the entire deck, as well as the unhelpful thoughts and actions. We definitely should do this one because it has a little section for core beliefs.
Okay.
So we'll give that a shot.
What about radical acceptance?
And I think we could try that.
Okay.
Because this is for people who either consciously or unconsciously are having a hard time accepting something. And so, kind of the pit of that.
That one
fear.
seems like the scariest, so I'm down to jump into that.
Yeah, we'll do these 3 and see how it works out.
Okay.
So cognitive distortions is the easier. We've got our cute little pinwheel here, and this card underneath has 12 of the most common cognitive distortions.
Okay.
If you want to read through those, and you can pick one. It could be based on what you are guilty of, what you want to work on. It could also just be like what's interesting or what's one that I'm good at, whatever floats your boat.
Okay. Oh, I found one for sure. The catastrophizing.
Ooh, okay.
And I think that kind of goes along with the emotional reasoning. Like the example on here says, I feel anxious, something bad must be about to happen. So it's like, oh, if I don't use the time wisely, then I'm going to regret it.
Right.
So yeah, I think those 2.
Okay. I think those are really good ones.
Okay.
Emotional reasoning is one that everybody is guilty of at different times, but it's one that you and I have talked about a lot. And I think a good example of emotional reasoning is sometimes when we just feel discomfort in our body or pain, our brain needs to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just as simple as like, oh, my joints are achy, your brain somehow goes, no, there needs to be some narrative behind the pain. So maybe I'm like feeling bad and uncomfortable because something bad is about to happen in the real world, or maybe because I'm not doing enough. I have been very curious with you and this particular issue just over the years, if like what the relationship is between a core belief like this and your chronic pain.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I'm curious too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because anytime a person is dealing with pain in general, but especially chronic pain, your composure is just weakened.
Yeah.
Because of this area of your life that's generating so much stress, just feeling pain it often gets projected onto other areas of your life. You can be short with your partner. You can be angry about the smallest little things, or you can start to have some like very deep narratives
about not having enough time.
Exactly. And I kind of wonder what the relationship is like between your pain.
I think it kind of gives me that like fire lit under my ass to do more while I can too, because it's like, I don't know if it's going to progress or be way worse. So like, that's why I got to do it all right now, because I might not have the energy or the time. And then I might be, in a lot more pain in the future and look back and be like, damn, I should have done that when I had all the energy and was doing good.
Interesting. I was going a total different direction with that, but that's really good too.
What direction were you going?
Such a lovely spin.
If I could just ask.
Well, just wondering if this belief that you're not doing enough, which I personally see as something that is not true most of the time.
Yeah, I can see that too.
And it is unhelpful a lot of the time. It results in you having a negative experience quite often over something that is not true.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, my girl who is doing enough deserves to just enjoy her efforts rather than always feel as though they are not enough.
Yeah.
And so I just wonder if maybe it's tied to your pain a little bit, where the pain triggers these beliefs, because the pain has to, your brain creates a narrative around the discomfort of the pain.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Totally.
It's worth exploring in another session.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that was a good one. Emotional reasoning is what we chose. What he said made me upset, so he must be trying to hurt me. It's taking, how I feel, and I have to tie it to something in the outside world.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great choice. That's a good one to be cognizant of. So let's give this a shot. You are the first person to do the core beliefs little challenge. And it's
the cash
the
cab.
whole exercise is what could fit on the 6th of a card. So it's obviously not that comprehensive. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. It's unhelpful. So having an awareness of which thoughts and actions of ours are unhelpful is the crucial first step. But to change them, we need to challenge them. This is done best with a strong line of questions. So if we're going to look at core beliefs, okay, we have 2 little sections. So if an unhelpful core belief underpins your thought, which group would it fall into? The 3 categories are either self, others, or world. So an example of the world would be like, the world is not a safe place. An example of others, people are bad, or people are violent. An example of a negative core self-belief is, I am unlovable, or I'm not doing enough. So I think it's obviously a self core belief. And now let's move into, so a couple questions about it. And let's just see what answers come up for you. We did ask this. When do you first remember thinking this? If you had
just like a little kid.
Did you say 6 years old?
Probably.
Earlier? That's pretty intense.
I remember just internalizing what was happening around me. I was paying a lot of attention to what my parents were saying and doing and feeling.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So quite young. And now this is going to ask you to go a little bit deeper, but feel free to stay vague if you need to. But what experiences shaped this?
I bet they probably haven't made it this far into the listening anyway. They're all very ADHD. Just kidding.
They quit at the 10-minute marker.
Okay, I think financial insecurity, with seeing my family, financial insecurity growing up. And then just like not being, like seeing my parents individually like hurting for different reasons, and not physically, just like mentally hurting, and feeling like I couldn't take that away, like seeing things that I probably like shouldn't have seen as like a little kid, I guess.
And you've kind of internalizing a role as like the helper or the fixer.
You can't fix mom and dad's fight when they're fighting and freaking out.
But you want to. And so because you want to, but you can't, there's definitely a feeling of not doing enough.
I think those are the times where it started. So I think, and I witnessed that, I think, very young.
So this core belief, like it's interesting as we kind of processed it, and we can try and look at the literal ways that it might be true, or it might be aimed at current events, but it's obviously like a pattern that has been in your mind for most of your life, especially like most of your conscious life. If you can remember it going back to being 6 years old, then this is most likely like you're experiencing kind of the echo of a core belief that was formulated when you were tiny, you know, in the chaos of a home that you felt you needed to fix, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does this belief still serve you?
I think it keeps me doing a lot of things. I think it serves me. I don't think I'd want it to necessarily fully go away. But I'd like to kind of like use it to my advantage more in a way, and like have more control over it rather than like let it get in the way of things. So
I think you do a great job of making it productive.
Yeah. It's kind of what I'm
doing your best with it. But I would argue that the belief doesn't serve you, because you can have those same worries normally without it being as persistent and as negative and all-consuming sometimes.
Having the belief be like the baseline feeling is not productive or good.
Yeah. And just the fact that it can't be satisfied is clearly it's like it's not super helpful if it's just always going to make you feel bad no matter what. So I would say that the belief doesn't serve current Keely.
Okay.
Maybe it obviously served you in the past to an extent. It was formulated by like little Keely, her understanding of what was going on and what her limitations were in trying to help people. But I think that the belief is very outdated.
Yeah.
And it hardly is tethered to anything of current Keely.
I think even if that got taken away, I'd still be productive and ambitious and stuff,
And you might be a little happier and get to enjoy your efforts a little more.
True.
So the last question is, so how could you alter this to be more productive?
That's kind of the whole, what I want to get out of it. It's like, how can I use this to my advantage, I guess, but.
And you do a good job of that. So I think a different question that I would ask at the tail end of this would be, if it doesn't still serve you, do you feel like you can reason with it a little bit? Knowing that it was a belief that was formulated in the past when things were very, very different than they are now. And you still hold the belief, even though things are dramatically different, and that it is not serving you.
I think I'm aware of all of that, and I still can't.
Yeah.
It's like I can dissect it and I can know where it came from and stuff, and I still just like can't reason with it. I can reason with it, but it just feels like I'm like fighting a battle that's not going to be won.
I think this is exactly a difference between you and I, because for you it's like it's not as easy as just convincing the belief to go away. Like, go away. Yeah. I already said that you don't serve me anymore. For me though, that does work. Yeah. Because as soon as I logically work it out, when I have the recurrence of a certain thought, I'd be like, no, we already worked this out. You're dumb. Go away. You don't serve me. Yeah. But I think for some people, it's something that they have to work through from the body up rather than from the mind down.
Totally. I was going to say mine's more like feelings, somatic. Kind of.
Yeah. So we've got some different approaches that we'll do off camera. But it is interesting seeing the difference between you and I, and how something as simple as like a line of questioning is not going to have the effect on some people as it does for others. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's actually really fun. I have not done that section with somebody.
Really?
Okay, so I'll actually take that away since we didn't do it. Cool. But let's jump in, because there's one exercise in particular in innovation that I'm excited to do with you. Okay. We have our reverse engineer cards, and there's one that I think we ought to do in particular. And because we brought it up earlier in this exercise, which is strengthening your sense of security, which is using the fear. So if that's all right, I would suggest that one. But if any of the others sound better, I'm more than happy to do that. There's reverse engineer anticipation or surprise to reinforce your resilience.
I think this one would be a good option, the generate a gratitude game plan.
Okay.
Not that I need gratitude, but I think it's nice to remember things that I am doing and give those credit to the fear. Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
I think those two. Yeah.
Ooh, 2.
Oh.
Greedy.
Am I supposed to pick one?
No, it's okay. We could totally do 2. I think that the gratitude game plan will be more pleasant, so I'm going to save that one second. Okay. And we'll do this one first. So reverse engineering your fear is what we're going to be doing. So the presence of that fear, kind of like I said earlier, means that something is a threat to you. And the intensity level of the fear equals how much danger you perceive it poses, or how vulnerable you are to the threat. So let's think about 2 things, which is the something. And the something is the threat. We'll say this core belief is the something. And the danger, how much danger you perceive it poses. What would we say the danger of that core belief is? I mean, it threatens kind of your quality of life.
Yeah.
Like, as your boyfriend who watches this, that's the thing I think about, where I'm like, she deserves to be happy. Like, I'm glad it's a powerful motivator, but God, like, let her, have her flowers for a minute. And so I kind of feel like that's the danger it poses.
Yeah.
It threatens to torture you for the rest of your life,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's think about those two things, the core belief and how it does reduce the quality of your life a bit. So what are 3 things around you or within you that you feel are most threatened by this? I think
my sanity.
Yep. We can go general, and that's
Your sanity.
Yeah. Dash's sanity. Yep.
Okay, my sanity. Can you help me with this one?
Yeah, I think we kind of just covered them, but your quality of life and being able to feel satisfied with your efforts.
Yeah.
Being able to just
be in the moment.
Yeah, and to feel like you are doing enough. Like it's a good feeling to feel like you're doing enough and that you're proud of how you're living your life.
Mm-hmm. And maybe like for doing the things for the sake of wanting to do them rather than like the fear of like, what if I don't?
Yes, I love that, which we kind of covered in the first half, which is like, fear can be a great motivator, but wouldn't we prefer joy to motivate some of these things rather than fear?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't these things feel safe or secure? Well, because they're being threatened by this very pervasive, persistent, nagging fear. Naturally kind of threatens all those things. But trying to walk it back even another step, though, because there is a core belief that refuses to be satisfied. That's why these things are not safe.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't ever be satisfied if you have this fear that has a hungry belly that can't ever be fed.
Yeah.
Satisfaction is on the other side of satiating the fear, but it just can't be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are good.
So next, for each of those, write down what's one thing that you can do today that will make you feel more secure and impervious to that threat.
Do more things. Just kidding.
Do more.
Do more. Always do more.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know.
I mean, I liked the suggestion earlier about like writing it out and actually coming up with a threshold.
Yeah.
Forcing the fear to place a threshold. Like no more bottomless pits.
Yeah.
No more not being satisfied. What is a literal number
almost
that I can
satisfy? Almost like a game
satisfy?
plan, kind of. Yeah.
It's a good way to challenge the fear, to be like, no more making demands. Let's create a reasonable threshold, and then anything past that, and like go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's a good one. I think we should literally do this and not talk about it. Well, let's do it later because I think it will actually help.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Generate a gratitude game plan.
Which is kind of like that is a little bit.
Yeah.
It's almost just like that in a different kind of way.
A little bit, yeah. And I also think this is a good way to combat or to bring about what we were just saying, which is feeling satisfied, feeling like you're doing enough. I think waxing grateful for the things in your life is a good way of forcing that into your life. Like, no, I'm going to be happy with how I'm living my life. Okay, so similar, the presence of, should we use the sadness? The presence of sadness means that there's something valuable, or we could use joy too, either way.
Either way.
Okay. The presence of your sadness shows that there is something valuable that was lost or that you feel is lost. And the intensity level of the sadness equals how much value you attributed to it. So think on the something valuable and think about the attributed value.
I guess like thinking about all the things that I'm afraid of missing out on or that I'm afraid of not doing shows my values, where we talk a lot about family, we talk a lot about business and making the impact. And so kind of seems like it is a good way to check in with myself and see what things I'm wanting to put attention to.
Okay, that's really good. Can I make another suggestion too?
Yeah.
So a lot of the sadness was around, let's just say like Rose. Rose getting older or your parents getting older. The deep sadness that you feel just shows how much you love those things and how meaningful they are to you. and their presence in your life. And so that sadness is like showing you what matters most to you in this life.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at when I was saying that.
And that's just, it's so nice to kind of be reminded of like, here's the list of things that matter the most to me in life. And if I want to like feel good, then, like here's a good place to start.
Yeah.
So what are three, let's choose one. Do you want to do family, or do you want to do rose, or do you want to, what's a good one where you think a lot of the sadness is tied to?
Maybe let's just do family.
Okay. So what are three of your favorite things about family?
That's hard to like put three favorite things on something.
Let's just start with one.
Okay.
What's just something that you love about your family? When you think about them or when you're with them, it's just like
the comfort.
A very admirable thing.
Yeah. The comfort that they bring, the like, sorry, I'm having a hard time.
No, that's, I mean, I know exactly where you're going. The comfort of just being in the presence of these
really
people have
you,
been in your life since the very first day. Very grounding presence to be with family. Okay, so there's one. What's the second one?
The playfulness that they all have.
That's a good one. Your family is playful in such a fun, unique way. Each member of your family, I feel like, is playful in a totally different way. Very subtle, especially your dad. Okay, so that's a good one, the playful. What's a third favorite thing?
How loving and understanding they are. They're all, especially my parents.
The emotion that you're feeling right now, I love that. I think, I talk a lot about how like sadness is very much just it's one side of the same coin as joy. And hearing you talk about these favorite things, it's just like, it's coming from a sad place, but then it turns into like this overwhelming feeling of joy. And even though it's initially coming from a worry about losing them, it can now motivate you to remember exactly why you love them and why spending time with them is so grounding or funny or all these things. And it's just such a good generator of gratitude. Here we are creating our gratitude game plan. Okay. So for each of those three, what's one thing you can do to creatively incorporate, emulate, or attract more of that into your life?
I mean, being around them more and just noticing the things that I've learned from them and stuff. If you want like a cinematic shot, you could just get like the tear rolling down my eye.
You hear that, Jan?
Zoom in. It's coming. But I think just recognizing like what you talk about when you talk about your grieving process with your mom, how you have like noticed the things that she brought to your life and just living that on through you.
Yeah. So it's kind of, so are you kind of saying like recognizing the traits that you love about your family and yourself and then kind of leaning into those in your own life? Okay, that's great. And the silliness too, kind of thinking the way, or the playfulness, sorry, that's the word we use. Kind of trying to emulate that yourself in your relationships. Okay. And then what was our third one?
I can't remember.
I can't either. We just talked about it. No, that's okay. I think
a lot of processing.
I think that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to emulate your favorite qualities about them in yourself and how you interact with clients or friends or me. And then being just a comforting presence for other people, I think is a way to kind of honor that.
Yeah.
And then it's just spending more time with them and maybe telling them, like there's nothing better than recognizing what you absolutely love about people and then letting them know. That's like a way to really bring a lot of it into your life because you're telling them and you're appreciating it. And then suddenly they get to think about that as they're laying in bed at night, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It means a lot. We can kind of create meaning whenever we want to. And there's something about just like expressing appreciation for people and things that make it appreciate. It's a great quote from Jim Rohn that says, the things you appreciate. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, cool. I think we're good there. And into our last exercise. Staple of CBT is the cognitive triangle,
Okay.
which just shows that our feelings, thoughts, and behaviors are very much interlinked. And that changing any one of these three things will indirectly change the others. So with our feelings, we can't directly change our feelings. We can't just turn off sadness at the drop of a hat, you know. But our thoughts we can change with conscious effort over time. And our behaviors we can change right away. So if we want to change how we feel, the way that we can do that is by changing some of our thoughts, changing our behaviors, and those will influence us to feel more of that. So what is the ideal thing that you want to feel?
Probably just peace.
Yeah. You deserve to feel so many things that I wish I could give you. And I think peace is a really good one.
Peace.
Peace.
Pizza.
Pizza. Okay, so peace is our chosen feeling. So what are some thoughts that would inspire a feeling of peace and influence your behaviors in a positive way?
Some thoughts to just tell my brain to shut the fuck up a little bit. And
that you're doing enough.
Yeah, that I'm doing enough.
That
I'm doing what I can.
That's our direct link.
That I'm doing what I can, with what I'm capable of. Yeah.
I actually don't know what your thoughts are on like affirmations. If you tell yourself I'm doing enough, do you believe it?
No, I have a hard time convincing my little like being in my brain, you know. I can tell when I'm lying to myself where I'm not really feeling it. Like how you said you can like mind down, kind of convince yourself of something. For me, it has to be like, there has to be more evidence than just me saying it.
Right. And that's why I like the idea of the little journal entry with the thresholds, because if you set the thresholds and then achieve them, I feel like that's got to be at least some evidence to go, see, I did it.
Evidence helps me a lot. When I was going through therapy, I was like, when I had a lot of anxiety and stuff, the evidence stuff helps. Where it's like, okay, I can see it all laid out. They're like, oh, I actually am doing a lot because I'm doing this, this, and this. It's not just like getting shadowed in my brain. Yeah. So, I think.
Yeah, evidence is so huge. And kind of trying to build a relationship where the only thing that you are going to listen to and respect is evidence.
Yeah.
I think that's but it's really not that hard to come up with ways to try and provide your brain with evidence. Kind of like creating that thing or creating chore lists and
just kind of keeping track of things.
Okay, so that's a great thought, which is be to tell yourself or to show yourself, give yourself evidence, which I guess kind of answers the next one, which is what are behaviors that would inspire that feeling, inspire helpful.
Right, maybe like writing stuff out or taking things slower and realizing that like.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Bye.
That's okay.
Okay. Well, that was perfect timing.
Cool.
And we got to the end of the exercise. It's like,
perfect.
Okay, so for our response, normally we could go through a whole checklist and review all the stuff that we did through each pillar, but I think we're good. Yeah. So take a deep breath. You know what to do. Thanks, baby.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate you being vulnerable, and I love that emotion in you so much when it bubbles up. In both sad ways and joyful ways. I love how deeply feeling of a person you are.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
This is all really cool.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Now get out of here.
Now give me a snack.
Introspection without integration is just rumination. Here are 3 insights from today's session that I hope Keely carries forward. 1. Give the fear a finish line. Identify the areas where it speaks loudest, attach a concrete goal to each one of those, and let meeting that goal count as enough, even if only for a moment. 2. Work from the body up. Somatic practices can carve new pathways that the mind alone cannot reach. The belief lives in the nervous system too, and it can be met there. 3. Let your family's playfulness be a practice, not just a memory. Embodying what you love most about them is its own way of staying close. If this session resonated with you and you're ready to take a closer look at something of your own, I do offer one-on-one catharsis sessions privately. No cameras, don't worry. The link to book is below. That's the work. That's the method. We'll see you next time.